sprinkles for the people.
Cloudy.
Just throw in change, make it hail.
All right, guys, I got it. And I was not on my corner for that one.
No.
Not on that corner. Ezekiel coming back is a much-needed jolt to a team that went 3-3 in his 6-game absence. The road to the postseason for the Cowboys isn't exactly a paved one. That is unless you consider like a 7% chance of making the playoffs good paving. Bottom line, at 8-6 with games against the Seahawks and Eagles, the Cowboys need this offense to play much better than they did the last few weeks, and they'll rely heavily on their star running back to do that. Here's Zeke with more.
I'm not really going to talk about it. It's behind me. I'm just trying to start a new page, a new chapter, and I'm going to thank, this Cowboys organization for being behind me. Thank for my family and my team and my friends for just supporting me through the time, and especially the Cowboys fans who stuck by me through this tough time and haven't lost faith in me. But I'm not talking about it anymore. This is going to be the last time you hear me speak about it, so please don't even ask me about it.
At least he said, please. Stink, say the Cowboys do get into the playoffs, right? They win out, they get help, which they need to get in. At that point, with Zeke back, with the team you've seen the last 6 weeks, is this a viable Super Bowl contender?
Oh, sure. If you get in, everybody's a viable Super Bowl contender. I mean, you have to stick to your formula. And the formula is control the clock, run the football, protect your defense. If you can play with a lead, and it's interesting, we say this, I'd say this about Atlanta, too. If they can play with a lead, their offense is outstanding. They're really hard to defend. Now, if they have to drop back and throw it 40 times because they're behind, their offensive line can't hold up. They got some Joes. They're good players, but they got some Joes that they'll grind, but they're not great. The Cowboys defensively are kind of like the Atlanta Falcons offensively. If you make them defend the entire field, they're in trouble. I like some of their young corners. I like some of their young DBs. Right?
They played well.
They're inexperienced, but they played well. They're very aggressive. They can rush the passer. That's the one thing Dallas can do. So if they play with a lead, they run the ball, they control the clock, they control the tempo of the game. They make you feel, even if you're only down 7, that you're down 14 or 20.
Yeah.
And they make you feel like psychologically we've got to throw it to get back in. That's how the Dallas Cowboys can run the table. And they have the requisite talent to do that if they adhere to the game plan, if they adhere to that formula.
And what you're talking about, the numbers back it up entirely. The Cowboys, we've seen how jarring the numbers are for Dak with and without Zeke. The numbers are even more jarring for that defense. With not necessarily with and without Zeke, but with and without 30 rush attempts. If you're running the ball 30 times, especially if you're the Cowboys, but really any team usually means you're winning the football game. Because a lot of those times you're running the ball to grind clock, to shorten the game. And the Cowboys, with that offensive line and with that running back core, particularly Zeke, you're getting 5 yards a carry. Like, you're being effective. When they run the ball 30-plus times, the defense allows less than 16 points. When they run the ball fewer than 30 times, the defense allows more than 30 points. So that's what you're talking about. Like, if the other team has to pass, Dallas absolutely can be an effective defense. Not a special defense, but an effective defense. But if you don't know what if the other team's living in 2nd and 4, and you don't know what they're going to do, and they've got a 4-point lead, then all of a sudden the Cowboys defense, you can really pick on their weak spots of their defense, which out of David Irving, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Sean Lee, there's no player out there that particularly scares you defensively.
Right. The Super Bowl contender, because of their style, that would allow them potentially in a very, very odd year to get to the NFC Championship and potentially advance. And the reason why is how everything shakes out this year. You have Philadelphia, amazing year, 12-2. Nick Foles is their quarterback. They got a couple injuries, middle linebacker out, left tackle out, couple other guys. Let's go down. Minnesota Vikings. Jenna's guy, Case Keenum, he's holding it down. Potentially, probably the hottest quarterback of all the quarterbacks in the NFC. Rams, Goff, his first time. How them and Sean McVay, how are they going to do? You got Drew Brees and you got Cam right now. So if Dallas was in with those teams, you're like, okay, Dallas, you have to go on the road. Like, can you get it done? Yes, they could do that. How can they do it 3 weeks in a row? That's going to be the problem. Because if they do get in, you mentioned only a 7% chance, but those 3 weeks in a row on the road are going to be difficult because they haven't shown the consistency. So are they legitimate if they get in? Yes, because it's an odd year in the NFC. Right. But it's going to be tough for them to get in. They need a lot of help.
So well, let's just take a step backwards. They do need a lot of help, but the first thing they have to do is they have to win their next 2 games. You get Zeke back in the lineup. How much better does he make the Cowboys? And does he fix the problems that we've seen the Cowboys have the last couple?
But also, you have to who they're going against. They're going against Seattle, is injured, and Philadelphia, potentially, who might not be playing in week number 17 because they have the tiebreaker over the Vikings.
So I was sitting over there, I was listening, and I was listening to Nick, and you're going to get a lot of closed defensive formations.
Oh my gosh!
Meaning,
come on.
So what is single
explain
high
to Chris what that means. Tell Chris what that means.
While you're telling him, I'll just sneak in here and listen.
So, but one thing about Seattle, and Seattle's interesting now, they have it up to the Rams in the running game. The Seattle Seahawks are, I know they're injured. They're a speedy defense. You've got to gut them. You got to take it right down the middle. And even if you run wide with the presence of saying, I want to get you moving a little bit, but we're still between the tackles. We're like, it's a pitch. You'll see them pitch it like the Gurley pitch, but it's a downhill. Yes. It's designed to really be behind the tackle. That's what their pitch game is designed.
What's Seattle giving up?
200. They're averaging 200 yards that they're giving up rushing, which plays the last couple of weeks, which plays right into what.
Right, and teams have gotten to the point where they're like, we're going to be downhill on these guys. We're going to come after these guys, and they're just not the same defense right now. And injuries
Zeke,
do that to you.
Zeke looked very good coming back, but a lot of people might struggle after 6 weeks in the Dominican Republic. 6 weeks is a long time. 6 hours in Dominican Republic. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the place that I would pick to do my research.
Right, but this dude is a freak at many different levels. Yeah. Right?
I think he was in Cabo, but it's all right. CC's point stands.
Oh, yeah, same thing.
He just
Cabo and the DR.
He just wanted to be focused.
CC was
nothing
having
but the sea,
flashbacks
surf,
to
and
his
sand.
trip to the Dominican, which is on the 4th hour of the show.
Yeah, I had the DR on my mind. I really did.
All right. Thank you so much. Glad you're feeling better. It's always
I'm
fun.
planning a vacation.
Coming
Good
up.
seeing you, baby.
Yeah.
Baron Davis is in the house. We're talking Lonzo. We're talking Kobe. We're talking a lot of things next. First things first.
Last time I